Hi, my name's Esther Wise, and I'm part of the wider leadership team here at All Nations. This is my thought for the week. Today, I'm going to speak about Israel, where I have just spent the most amazing 8 days. I'd like to tell you some of the best bits that are close to my heart. Firstly, was the Garden Tomb in Jerusalem, where we Christians believe is the site of the burial and resurrection of Jesus. It certainly brought tears to my eyes. I went into the tomb and saw where the King of Glory laid. I could almost visualize him lying there in rags, crucified for my sins and the sins of the rest of the world. I touched the cold walls and wanted to lay on the cold stone ground as he did just a little while. As I talked to King Daddy in the tomb, I had great joy as he is now reigning in glory, and I'm now in his belief system of truth and justice, and not in the belief system of lies and deceit. The songwriter reminds us that the stone was rolled away. Now death, where is your sting? He is the resurrected King. He overcame the grave. The garden itself was tranquil, and you could actually imagine sitting there with Jesus as he spoke his words of wisdom, and the tomb and garden will forever stay with me. Secondly, it was the Hezekiah tunnel, which was fascinating. The Bible tells us that it was 533 meters long. It was dug by King Hezekiah so that he could fortify the city against the invading Assyrian armies without compromising its main water source, the Gihon Spring, which lays outside the walls. The tunnel apparently took 2 years to dig, with 2 teams starting at each end and meeting in the middle. As I walked through the long, narrow, out-of-shape walls in cold water, sometimes up to my knees, with an uneven ground and ceiling, again I saw the masterpiece of the Creator through the men that made that tunnel possible. At one stage, we all turned our torches off and darkness fell upon us. The good news is we were not really in darkness, as we are in his marvelous light. After 40 minutes, we were back into the natural light, and yes, another masterpiece by the light of the world. 2 Chronicles tells us all about it. Thirdly, Nazareth Village took us back to the biblical times. It's an open-air museum in Nazareth that reconstructs and reenacts village life in Galilee in the time of Jesus. The village features houses, terrace fields, wine and olive presses, all built to resemble those that would have been in a Galilee village in the 1st century. We saw people dressed in robes. Some were picking olives, others were tending the animals. We saw Abraham, Joseph, Mary, to name a few, but my favorite was Hannah, who makes blankets from wool. Hannah brought tears to my eyes as she was so humbling and spoke so passionate about her coming to Christ and her faith. She went beyond her displays for the tourists. We hugged and thanked her. She was a true likeness of what Christianity should be. The final topic is the River Jordan, which runs through the land and history of the Bible, giving its waters a spiritual significance that sets it aside from other rivers. It is significant for Jews because the tribes of Israel under Joshua crossed the river on dry ground to enter the Promised Land after years of wandering in the desert. It is also significant for Christians because John the Baptist baptized Jesus in the waters of the Jordan. It is now even more significant because I saw with my own eyes someone going through the water of baptism. Her name is Rita. She came to Israel as a Catholic and left as a follower of Jesus. Rita now knows what being a true Christian is. I used to pray for Israel when I remembered, but having visited the country, it has now changed my thought pattern on it. I am now encouraged to make it priority in my prayer life. The country is beautiful. I dreamed it would still be like when Jesus was on earth. Obviously times change and buildings get ruined, but there were still plenty of sites that I could relate to where Jesus once walked. Before going to Israel, I read, I watched the movies regarding it, I heard sermons on it, but now I can say I walked in the footsteps of Jesus. I touched the walls that he touched, I was in the building and places that he preached and healed the sick. I lived the dream for a week while the Bible came to life. I believed before, but now I know it is real beyond any doubt.